In this video, we will discuss how to use presets inside of Lightroom. Now, if you have downloaded presets from anywhere, not just my presets, but anywhere, and have installed them, you will find them over in your left-hand preset panel inside of the Develop module in Lightroom. Let me just go over the organizational structure of my presets, and hopefully you'll learn something about other presets in the process. When you are looking at my presets, you will find that I have labeled folders, and those folders, if you click on the little triangles, will drop down and show you presets within those folders. And above those folders, above the preset area, in the navigational area, when you click on a folder, as you scroll over your presets, that navigation photo will change based on what that preset will do to the photograph if you were to click that particular preset. That's very helpful, but also in my preset specifically, helpful is the name. Notice that the names are they're very rational names. They say exactly what the photo is going to do in most cases, so that you really get a sense of, if I click this, I'm going to get an aged color print. Or if I click this, I'm going to get a soft desaturation on the color. If something specific is going to happen, like for instance, we're going to change a specific luminance rating in the noise reduction, it will say with luminance 10. So that you have a really good accurate picture of what the number is going to be on a specific slider. You'll also notice that they have codes in front of them, 0 through, in this case, 66. The reason we have codes is because they are alphanumerical in their organization. So instead of organizing them by alphabet, which would put the S's way down at the bottom and the G's towards the top and the N's in the middle, and it would change the structure of this. We put them in a code order with the number being the organizational scheme, so that I can tell my rich black and white to be next to my black and white and have soft desaturation close to the black and whites, so I can choose the organizational structure. If at any time you want to go in and change the organizational structure, or if you want to change a name, you can right-click any preset and click on Rename. When you rename, you can just change the number at the very beginning, and that will change its position inside of the organizational structure. You can also grab any of these presets and drag them to any other folder if you decide that you don't. I have an Everyday Favorites folder, and if you don't use a preset every day, then you can take that preset and move it out of the Everyday Favorites folder and put it in a more appropriate folder. Conversely, if you want to take some film grain that you constantly are using and you want to put it into your Everyday Favorites folder, simply grab that grain and move it into the Everyday Favorites folder and drop it, and then you will have access to it in that one folder. The idea here is that you want to open one folder and use the presets in that folder most often. And then if you need to go searching for something else, because you have an organizational structure to your folders, you can say, oh, well, I want vignettes. If you click on the vignettes section, you will open up a bunch of vignettes. Now, you'll notice also that I have folders that are named with codes. So you see JPEP, all the way down to number 9. Oh, no, number 8. JPEP, those are all Jared Platt Essential presets, so that is a collection. You'll also see a film pack, which is JPFP, and so that's the film pack. You'll see TS at the end, that's Top Secret collections. So there's lots of different collections, and they will be organized based on those collections. Once you have the collections and once you have worked with the presets, I really highly suggest that you start moving those presets around. So take your vignettes and choose the ones that you would use most often, and take the other ones and either get rid of them or keep them in the folder and leave them down here, but take the ones you use most often and move them into the everyday favorites so that you're not hunting around for presets. The idea is that if you really do your job right, you will only have to open up your everyday favorites folder, and you're going to use this 99% of the time. And then occasionally you'll close that folder up and you'll go to a different folder in order to work on something specific that's only good for maybe this photo or another photo, and it's just, you're not using it that often, but you're going to use it this time. You'll also notice that the presets that we have created for you are very specific. So instead of working with them, expecting them to change everything all at once, instead you're going to build. So think of it as layers in Photoshop. They're not actually layers, but they work a little bit like them. The idea is that we're going to build upon the thing that we just last did. And so if you look at the black and white mix 0 and I click on it, it changes everything in the photo to black and white based on the black and white setting, but it doesn't change anything else. Then if I add sepia to that, it only changes it to sepia, but it doesn't change anything else. In fact, if I were to back out and change this back to color and click on add sepia, notice that it added sepia, but it didn't actually add black and white. The reason that we do this is so that I have complete control over what I'm going to add and what I'm going to take away at any given time. So I can add black and white, I can add sepia, I could then come down and add some grain, and then I could add an interesting round a vignette to the image. And now I've got this grainy, vignetted, black and white with sepia tone, and then I can say, oh, you know what, I really don't like the grain because it's kind of, eating into her eyes there. So I'm going to change the grain to a 200 ISO grain. So notice that I was able to remove the grain of 800 and put in a grain of 200 without changing anything else. So I was able to do that without having to go back in time. I didn't have to step back and undo. I just simply changed that one aspect of the photo out from under the other things that I had already done to it. And that's the reason we do this. I can also come in and I can restore the entire image to color, but I still have the sepia tone, which gives it a warmth. And if I decide I don't like the sepia tone, I'd rather have a cyanotype, I can simply come in and click on my cyanotype and it removes the sepia, adds cyan, but it doesn't necessarily change anything else about the photograph. So the idea of having these well-designed, targeted presets allows you to make a lot of changes to your photo, and in a very small number of presets, you can have almost an unlimited supply of effects at your fingertips. If you design your presets the opposite way, so that one preset does it all, then you have to have an unlimited number of presets in order to do a very limited number of things. And that's why we've designed the presets the way we have. So when you buy my presets, you're not just buying presets, you're buying an organizational structure that helps you to get things done. You're also buying a structure to the presets themselves, a philosophy, if you will, of presets that allows you to accomplish a great deal with a very limited number of presets. My presets not only work inside of the Lightroom Develop module, but you will also find them in the brush and the gradient and the radial filter tools in the effects area. There are drop-down menus that will allow you to use presets inside of these tools here in the targeted adjustment area, as well as presets for exports and actions for Photoshop, etc., etc. But in all cases, we design our presets in a very targeted and a very rational way so that they not only create great effects, but they also keep you moving through your photographs quickly and efficiently. I hope you enjoy the presets. Please drop us a note and let us know how you like them and how you're using them.